most hated and the most unpopular person in Kenya. In 2005, 2 years after his election, the first time, 3 years, he brought a referendum. He was defeated in that referendum. You remember Banana Orange? He was defeated. He dissolved the entire cabinet. He was left with the old man. It's a Moody Award or something. Yeah. So what is happening around here is something that has happened before. And why President Kibaki and President Ruto? Ask yourself why. It is because any transformative leader who has an idea of what to do about key sectors that define a country's transformation, many times the decisions that leader has to make to transform the country are usually unpopular. They are not popular. Populist leaders make popular decisions. Okay? I'll give you an example. This universal health care that we are focused on implementing is not the invention of Kenya Kwanza. Professor Kithure and the others, the scholars, will tell you, President Kibaki intended to bring universal health coverage when Charity Ngilu was minister. Aka-introduce the topic, siasa kama hii ikakuja, Kibaki retreated. Ikakufa. President Uhuru had universal health care in his manifesto. I'm part of the team that wrote that manifesto, the first term. Akaona it's very unpopular because you have to increase the levies that you're charging people and so forth. Akaikalia first term. He thought he can introduce it in second term when he's going home because he will not be looking for re-election. So in 2018, Aka announced the Big Four agenda. One of them was universal health coverage. Cecily Kariuki was the minister for health. Siasa ikakuja, Uhuru backtracked. I remember Uhuru asking us, sisi tuko na insurance? Kama watu wamekataa health insurance, sisi tuko na insurance? Alafu akauliza deputy yake that time. I just overheard, nilikuwa area tu, nilikuwa hapo, sikuwa karibu. Nikasikia akauliza deputy yake, "Wewe William, si mimi na wewe tuko na nyumba? Hii housing program." Kwa sababu housing ilikuwa kwa Big Four ya Uhuru pia, isn't it? Si wewe uko na nyumba na mimi niko na nyumba. Hii manyumba ni ya nini? Tuwache. Wakawacha. Brothers and sisters, I'll shortly tell you what housing and what a health insurance for every Kenyan means to the economy and to household incomes in a short while. But before I do that, I want to say for the last 2 years, President Ruto has struggled with what we call macroeconomic stability. Macroeconomic stability means, for those who are not experts like myself, I'm not also an expert in the economy, but I have learned from the experts. Macroeconomic stability are the fundamental foundational economic growth indicators that must be in place before you start now building the growth of the economy. One indicator is the strength
Yes, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki, and you know that this is Africa 24 political discussion, where usually there's a great conversation from, because you know it's a new month, and February 1st 2025. The year is almost ending. What are your resolutions? Have you done your resolution if you are following this great conversation here? Number one, you know that in Africa 24, we always we give you the best news, entertainment, and also sports. Make sure you give yourself that time when we are having this discussion here in Africa 24. I've also joined other members here who are following this great conversation so that you can pioneer out today's show. And today is on Saturday. I know I have some of the followers following from United States of America and also United Kingdom, that is UK, Kenya. It's almost midnight. But of course, we're going to have this show as we discuss the Kithure Kindiki Mountain Critics. Why? The mountain has been trying to get a leader after the impeached Gachagua was seen as one of the members who could represent the region, but now we are seeing another leader. But the deputy president who was appointed after Gachagua, that is Kithure Kindiki, he has been facing a lot of critics. You saw today when they were launching that border initiative in Embu, whereby most of members of county assembly in Embu, they really said that at some point they cannot trust Kithure Kindiki to be their mountain representative, the direct link to the presidential office. That is what they are saying. And today we saw how some of the leaders were saying in terms of the mountain. But you know, Kithure Kindiki, after he was appointed, the day before yesterday, he was saying that he might get into this government until 2032. But the main thing that he's proud of is that the president has been doing a lot of work. That is Professor Kithure Kindiki. He's saying that even if the president was hated, but he has been doing a good job for the first term. He also comparing the president with the former second president of the Republic of Kenya, that is Mwai Kibaki, saying that for the first 2 years, Mwai Kibaki, the late Mwai Kibaki, was very loved. But what happened? Saying that with some time, they started now saying the changes. That is what Kithure Kindiki is saying. So he is giving a lot of support to the government. Kithure Kindiki is saying that the government of William Ruto, that is the Kenya Kwanza government, it's the perfect government that Kenya will have. And just I am here asking my followers here. So if you're following this a great conversation, do you really think that he is the perfect person to give development, to give Kenya development? Do you really believe that the president of the Republic of Kenya, of course, you have been seeing how some of the leaders are saying the government has been incompetent since from the start. But you see, this housing program, we also have the vaccination program, we also have the SHA program. A lot of implementations have been done in the Kenya Kwanza government. But now, as the deputy president, Kithure Kindiki, is saying that the government has performed excellent for the past 2 years. So it's item Kenyans accept that the government has been doing a good job. Is this a good job? Do you believe that they are doing a good job? So if you know that you are following the conversation, you can join through the link that I've shared there, and we shall get to know what is happening. Because most Kenyans, even when you go to hotels, restaurants, or when you are passing by, you listen to some of people saying that amaliza tu aende. That is what they are saying. Maliza tu uende. But now this is controversial because you can see some of the leaders, top leaders, are saying that they are going to support this government for the next few years. So is going to suffer, or they are going to change, or they're going to carry on developments. Join this wonderful conversation through the link that I've shared there. And now we shall be having all these discussion. But as we know that the president has been facing a lot of critics, but when it comes to a response, then you know that the president is the best person to give you the response, whether negative or positive. But he has been doing a good job when it comes to making sure that the country is moving on well. That is what I can say, because personally I voted for the president, and I have seen how people are sending critics and how this one is going to affect the government. But you know, the president has been making sure that when we give, because Kenyans have been flooding in the social media, sending those negative comments about the country, but when he gets to give a press brief, then he always say what he has been doing. That is President William Ruto for the last 2 years, whereby his immediate deputy president is saying that they have been performing Kithure Kindiki, but the fact that most Kenyans are not happy. What cooks inside politics is something that you will never know, because who knew that one day Gachagua will be out of the government due to the impeachment motion, and the president will never talk about that. Who knew that Raila Amolo Odinga, who knew that one day Junet Mohammed will support Kenya Kwanza government? This is politics. Mzalendo, karibu sana, utuambie maoni yako ni gani? Unafikiri nchi inaendelea vizuri ama William Ruto mwaka wa 2027 ang'olewe madarakani? What is your view?
Asante sana Boni, unaendeleaje huko pale uliko? Mimi niko mzima na nashukuru Mungu. Your question ilikuwa ni what is my view on the impeachment. We have discussed that a lot on the impeachment. So ile kitu iko ni ile vita ya Gachagua ama ya Kindiki. So there's a confusion here. But first of all, can you hear me? Unanisikiza?
Yes. Yeah.
Now the war in Mount Kenya, nobody can stop it right now. Not even Ruto himself. That is why William Ruto is very much afraid to go to Mount Kenya at this time. Kindiki ule alikuwa arudilete Mount Kenya karibu na serikali kabisa, ameshindwa na hiyo kazi. So Mount Kenya will definitely go to the election without William Ruto. And I will not be surprised even Kindiki joining the larger Gema community at some point. This is politics. Just as you say, who knew that Kindiki, Gachagua, and Ruto will not be together in just under 2 years? They have already parted ways. But it is politics. Politics is about interest. Now, the interest of Gachagua right now is political power. The interest of William Ruto is retaining the presidency at all costs. At all costs. But even before we dive into all those issues, my condolences to the families of those who have been who were killed by the abductions. Those people, those young boys from Lolongo, my condolences to the families. I know it is very, very difficult, and some of these people live in our society. They are called Kenya. I know we have talked about this, but we will never stop talking about the irresponsible killing, and the killings can never be responsible in a society where everybody seems to be a Christian or a Muslim or practices his faith. So this government has not come out to condemn those killings and abductions. That is the sad reality. They have not even started investigating on why these boys were killed and who killed them. So there's a lot of politics going on, and of course, we have been told numerous times that the people who are abducting these young boys and girls is the government of William Ruto. So I urge whoever is responsible for this kind of killing, they should stop. They should stop. You know, when you kill somebody, it's not that they are going to come back again. It is only that you are creating more enemies. You are creating a lot of fear among the young people. Now, come 2027, you expect these young people to vote for you? The answer is no. Or are you going to subject them to a situation where they will not turn out to vote? Or with that kind of fear and terror that uh, has been uh, has been unleashed to these young Gen Z, it's absurd in a society like that, you know. And that is why I always say that sometimes it is not a good moment to call yourself a Kenyan. There are so many things that are happening badly in Kenya, and we can't just sit there and not say something about it. This is something that we should all talk about. This is something that the mainstream media should investigate. They should not stop, even if it's going to last for a month, 2 months, 1 year. But we should talk about these people who are killing other children, other people's children. So for me, once again, to the president, this thing should stop. This thing should stop. And you know, tomorrow, that is Sunday, people will be walking into church and praying to the same God. So I don't think this government is mocking God in a way, and it's unacceptable. So this is something that we need to condemn each and every time, because the next time that that you'll be reading the papers, it will be either me or somebody close to you that has been killed by the government. So African government should know that power is not there to be to be joked around with, and power also should is vested on the people. So the people on in August 2027 will exercise that authority to remove Ruto from power, because this is something that is unacceptable. If there is just one reason that the president must be kicked out, is because of the killing. If that is one reason that is justified, then that is something that should happen. Otherwise, thank you, Bonnie. I hand over the mic to you.
Yes, Zalando is saying that he does not support what the government is doing, the Kenya Kwanza government is doing, because we have these killings, abductions. But when the current deputy president, Kindiki, then he was speaking the other day, he said that he supports what the president has been doing. He says that he has a very big ambition when it comes to this country when William Ruto is still the president. Do you think that Kindiki is just trying to support the president, or we are having this development? Because he said that the country is heading in the right direction. We are having a lot of developments, and William Ruto is trying to copy what Kibaki did in 2004, 2005 for his first term. He's comparing Ruto to
You think?
the late Moi Kibaki?
I see a situation where we would have compared Ruto with the late Moi Kibaki. Had he cemented his legacy on justice equality. Now, when having prices go down, when you kill people, it does not justify you being the president. So if I'm buying unga at 90 shillings, and you can't guarantee me security in my home, then what are you saying? I'll buy that unga at a supermarket, and before I reach, I'm abducted and killed. So what are you telling Kenyans? You know, the president, when he carried that sword up there, that sword was a symbol that he was going to protect the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. He was going to protect the citizen against any aggression by other neighboring countries or enemies of the country. You cannot be the enemy. You cannot be a citizen of Kenya, and the state uses its resources to kill. And worse still, these are young people. So you can imagine. I want to give you the worst scenario in the Bible when Herod, was it King Herod or somebody? uh, decided to kill all the male.
Don't refer to Bible if you're not sure of what you're referring
Yeah, yeah. Can you give me? I mean, maybe I have forgotten the verse. I've forgotten the chapter. But when there was a decree to
It
kill
is
all.
Exodus.
Hello?
It is the book of Exodus, and that the
Who is that?
freeing of Israelites. And for Israelites to be set free, God had to order the killing of the firstborns of Egyptians.
The firstborns of
The
all
blood of
Israelis, or
Egyptians
the
had to be
firstborn of
shed
all
for your
Egyptians.
imaginary Israelites to be freed from Egypt. Exodus.
So when that was ordered, the killing of all the Israelites, their children to be beheaded, all of them. That was a government deciding that all these children must be killed. Was it a good thing? Maybe then they were seeing that it was a good thing. But if you look at it right now, that was such an irresponsible way to react to a situation. That is why, Leo, when I see you sometimes supporting abductions and killings, I wonder from which world are you are from. Yeah, this is a young man, and do you even imagine the last moment, Leo, when I put a gun on your head, or when I put a sword on your head and butcher you into pieces like minced meat, or a kilo of meat, and cut you down into size and put you in a sack? These are people you are living with in a society. And then you tell me Kenya is a good country, everything works. What nonsense is that? What nonsense is that? Just tell me with your own imagination, your own son amekatwa akakatwa na akawekwa kwa gunia na ukaletewa huko ukasaviwa for dinner. And then you wake up telling me, hey, this government is doing a good job. This government is, in fact, it has done better things than the previous government. When you compare the killings in the previous government and the government that we have voted in, we didn't vote for this government to come and kill us. That is the thing. We voted for this government for service delivery, to make sure that things work well for the people of Kenya. Yeah? So we unless we are insane, you are not looking at these things in the same lenses or in the same magnitude. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Mzalendo is saying that this government is not giving what Kenyans wish to do. It will provide in 2022. I have a good friend here, Leo Nyabaya. Leo Nyabaya does have Kenya Liberation. I want just to give Leo. Leo, give us your opening remarks when it comes to the government of William Ruto, because Kenyans are saying that they are tired, but the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki is saying that the country is taking the shape of 2022. That is 2004, 2005, when Mwai Kibaki was the president for the first term.
Thank you so much, Boniface. Greetings to Mzalendo and Kenya Revolutionary. I can see him with an Arafat. I don't know if he's going to help the Palestinians in the capture of Gaza, or he's going to join. His enemy, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who is the lead peace negotiator in DR Congo, or he's going to support Yoweri Museveni and Paul Kagame in legitimizing the M23, who they claim are also fighting for what is legally theirs. I think the year has started well. And there is one thing that I've learned in politics. I've learned to sometimes be patient and wait for good things to happen. I've learned that maybe in my life, with my political life, I've never been supporting the governments. I've been judging governments immediately they're elected, and I've always kept them on toes. And if I reflected well, I realized that keeping that kind of ideology, nothing comes out of it because everything turns to be positive. So by the time maybe you realize that you need to give the government some peace of mind to implement on what they're implementing, it will be way too late and things will be overtaken by politics. That is why I decided to slow down on criticizing the government of William Ruto, a government that was really voted by, though he did not vote physically, that is Mzalendo. The only man that was against Ruto from the day one is Kenyan Revolutionary, so I'll give it to him on that issue. He was neither supporting Raila nor supporting William Ruto, and the reason he was not supporting Raila, and he maintained his stand on Uhuru Kenyatta until to date. But somebody like Mzalendo cannot convince me, because I now confirm to you that Mzalendo was not supporting William Ruto because he believed in his ideologies. He knew very well that the ideologies were bad, but simply because Raila Odinga was opposing Ruto, so he can't be on the same side with Raila Odinga. So he was doing it for convenience. So they're the last people who should lecture Kenyans who are supporting William Ruto right now. Because I'm sure if right now Raila stops supporting Ruto, Mzalendo will vehemently do that. So direct to your question, 2025, I project it's going to be positive. There was a Moody report, Kenya Revolutionary will talk about it. Mzalendo can't talk about it, that gave us some positive ratings as far as our economy and the credit status is. But the mainstream media chose not to talk of the positive parts and the positive recommendations, but they reported it negatively, that Kenya can now borrow more. So, such kind of things makes us unpatriotic. So moving forward, we are having William Ruto. I might not like him personally, William Ruto as a person, but as the president, I just have to give him time to implement on that which he promised. And after 5 years, we'll be able to tell him that, Bwana, you promised this and you did not do it. So now Kenyans can decide. But these are kind of nonsense. We've tried them years. I was born when my community and me were in opposition, and somebody cannot lie to you or lie to me that we are going to have different voting blocks or different votings based on different ideologies or different political identities. As Kenyans, what stands as at now is that our political identity is ethnicity, unless we marshal higher percentage of religious sects and business kind is when we can be able to change from our ethnic identity. What happens today that every community has got a Gen Z. So the Gen Zs you see on social media are just tribeless while using their mobile phones and online. But when they get back in the evening, they go back to their identities. We have the Luo Gen Zs, the ones you saw receiving William Ruto in Siaya, in Homa Bay, Migori, and Kisumu. We have the Kikuyu Gen Zs, the ones who were opposing Ruto, but immediately Ruto kicked out Gachagua. They were supporting Ruto, but immediately Ruto kicked out Gachagua. They are now trying to tell us that Gachagua and Matiang'i are sworn enemy of Kenya Revolutionary. One reason why I believe that Matiang'i will not have space in this country can now make a good president than Ruto. So I'll allow other people to give their comments, but I'll follow up so that I can be able to respond where necessary. Thank you, Boniface, once again. And Kenya Revolutionary, karibu. Naona ukishaanza kufuga hiyo harafat, so wewe ni mwanaume, utatoka pale online na sasa ukuje, wacha usichochee watoto wetu waende barabarani na wako wanasoma huko ng'ambo. Asanteni sana.
Yes, Kenya Revolution, karibu sana bwana. Umenipotelea sana, karibu sana na tupatie maoni yako kuhusu government ya William Ruto.
Asante. I'm also glad to see Leo, Boniface and Mzalendo left. I don't know why. Mzalendo, come back. Leo ameanza kukuchapa rough game hapa. Mnanisikia vizuri? Unajua niko kwa makelele niko hivi.
Yeah. Uko chonjo sana.
Yeah, William Ruto. Hey. William Ruto, to me, I think that was it Moody rating? Moody, I don't know if it was Moody or Worry who made that rating, but I think there was a correction the next day, I think, if I didn't follow it correctly. I didn't pay much attention to it because I think there's, this rating, IMF ratings, they can give you a positive rating saying that your economy is doing well or whatever the case is, but the real economy is when people on the ground are feeling it. Wananchi huko mashinani huko chini, kama wanaona bado kupata kazi ni shida ama bei ya unga and the standard of living, gharama ya maisha iko juu, then you can have all the rating you have, but the economy is not translating. That rating is not translating to the wananchi. Overall, I see Ruto's regime is similar to Kibaki's regime in this way. Kibaki started well, but in the middle of his first term, if you remember, I think that's when walianza kukosana na wakina, is it NAK or something, wakina Raila and all these people, the coalition that came to power. Hapo ndio walianza kukosania, alafu ndio tukaanza mambo ya machungwa na bananas. So it's similar to in that sense that William Ruto, after 2 years, we can see that everything is falling apart. I mean, how many cabinet reshuffle has he done? So to me, if I was to give a forecast of what will happen in 2025, I think it's going to be more disastrous from here. It's going to be downhill. It's going to go downhill. And something has to give. Something has to give. It's either the people will force William Ruto to change course, especially if Raila Odinga doesn't make it to AU. I don't know if Raila Odinga will still stick with him or will go against him if he loses that AU. We're about to find out in a few weeks. So that will give us a wonderful idea where we're going. But as far as economy or how governance is taking place, I mean, we see a bunch of incompetent people. I mean, Kabogo is the ICT minister or whatever, for Christ's sakes. What are we doing in this Kenya? So all in all, I can only say that it will get worse from here. As far as Matiang'i doing a better job than Ruto and all this coalition, we are just recycling these people. We are recycling these people. We'll see no positive change. If you put Matiang'i today as the Kenyan president, he will do exactly the same things Ruto is doing, if not worse. So we need a total overhaul of the system. So in short answer, just to finish up so I can give other people talk.
Bonnie, I just request 1 minute.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
I just want to maybe get a view on Kenya Revolutionary as
What was the question, Leo? Unakatika katika ama ni mimi?
Leo unapotea bwana. Leo amezama. Can you continue Kenya Revolutionary?
Did you hear what he asked? I think I heard him.
Ah,
Secretary.
network yake inapotea.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm sorry for that. I'm saying we just said that Kabogo attended some school with the Waititu somewhere, of which they are the only ones who knows where the school is and the faculty they were and something like that. And apart from that, Kabogo was employed by Mwau and something like that. And nobody is talking about that. Nobody has come to lecture Uhuru Kenyatta and his followers for allowing Kabogo, who is least qualified, to be a cabinet secretary. But when we have a CPA like John Badi, somebody who studied what is been positioned to do currently, we are having somebody like Opio Wandai qualified both academically and practically. We are having somebody who served as the Minister of Planning called Mbesa Oparanya, who are the people who drew the Vision 2030 that we are following currently. We are having such guys appointed to the government, but we see people every day, they are telling us how those people are traitors when they decided to give the expertise in the fields of their study. You are a driver, there's an opportunity to go and drive a bus that is being off way because the people who've been put to drive there are not there. So you are a qualified driver. People cast stones and throw stones at the drivers, but people who are dimwits like Kabogo, nobody talks about them. They are actually, Uhuru gave us 5 from his own community. Mzalendo will not see that, but will only see one single Luo who is highly qualified. He can't challenge his credentials, but the only mistake is that because he comes from a Luo community and is associated and was put forward by Raila Odinga, who is a common enemy. So that is why we look sometimes and see there is no need of maybe, why would we fight Ruto? We fight Ruto for appointing Badi. So the question that they're not telling us is Badi qualified? They're not challenging his qualification. They're not challenging the qualification of this one. But the people who are not qualified, nobody's talking about it. So that one tells you the type of politics we are, the type of people who are now camouflaging as revolutionaries, the people who are now calling themselves patriots, who are going to save this Kenya. So they cannot save their mind so that they can perceive things differently. They are perceiving things selectively. Then they want us to believe that they are going to remove Ruto and deliver a president who is going to change this country. I think that is a dream that is far-fetched. And if that is the kind of mentality that people want to bank on or want to build a foundation of removing William Ruto, then we better have William Ruto until the day we'll have different people who will come with some different ideas. So maybe what is your thought on Kabogo? And these are the people. Why are you people seeing the Azimio 4 and are not seeing the Uhuru or the Kabogo 4, whom I think only one person who is qualified is Nderitu?
Is that a question for me or Mzalendo?
Yes, you can answer first.
Will react. Mzalendo, you will also react.
Can you answer first, Kenya Revolution?
Oh, okay. I would ask Leo, since Mbadi and Wandai became joined Ruto, what change have you seen in their respective ministries, and how has it transformed the lives of Kenyans? And you talk about Kabogo. We have Hassan Joho, who's I think is a high school dropout or something like that. I won't go into his history. We know about him. I mean, he's no different from Kabogo. Same thing. I mean, these people, just because somebody is qualified, let's say like Mbadi or Opio and I, does not mean that they'll do the right thing when they join the government. I mean, we had Saitoti for how long when he was a vice president? The late Saitoti was a great mathematician. Okay. How did he change the Kenya? I mean, he just joined the looting spree during Moi's days. So my point is, these Wandai joining the government and all this because they came from ODM does not mean, even though they might have all these fancy degrees, more degrees than a thermometer, does not mean that they'll transform the country. Then there's Ombetsa. I mean, Ombetsa, Vision 2030, Ombetsa has looted Kakamega dry. So I don't know what vision are you talking about here. So to me, both whether it's Kabogo or whoever, Wandai, these people are in there to loot. They're not there to help Kenyans. If we see any kind of transformation as far as our economy, if we see any change in governance, if we see any change in abductions, if we see any change in respect of the rule of law, then we can say, okay, since these folks joined this government, we can now start seeing some changes. But no, it's still the same. If anything, these people are spending more time addressing people in Nyanza, telling them how Mount Kenya is angry and jealous about them joining the government, which is just playing to this whole tribal politics. So for me, I don't see any advantage, since I don't see anything beneficial that benefits the Kenyan people since Kabogo or Wandai joined the government. They're just a bunch of thieves who are joining the looting spree. They're joining the government and trying to fool us that, like Wanga was trying to fool us, that now that Mbadi is in whatever, is in treasury, now we should not fight Ruto. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? But I'll let Mzalendo deal with that.
Yes, Mzalendo, maswali ya Leo ni hayo. Alikuwa anauliza mbona watu wanakashifu sana serikali na iko na mambingwa akina John Mbadi. Mzalendo, are you there? Mzalendo amepotea. Leo umeuliza swali. Of course, Kenya Liberation has asked you a question. What have they done? Of course, they are experts. What have they done? Even me, I would ask you that question.
I'll just give you
reflected even to the Kenyans.
A pedestrian response. Since we saw Pio Wandai in the Ministry of Energy, I think the last time we saw this last mile ended with Uhuru Kenyatta 1. That time you will see Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto in some old women grass-thatched houses and some dirty houses, but the electricity was there. And since Mbadi came, I can tell you at least each and every week, we see the electricity being connected. When we had Chirchir, the only thing we'll see was the meter, ile ya Kenya Power, ikilia t. So they were so best with collecting and connecting the meters so that they can be able to collect without connecting new houses. But right now, we are seeing the new houses being connected with the last mile, and that one means the new meters, and this new meters means there is collection that is going to be done. Or he tried to come up with this kind of private. Sorry?
What places is there?
Unless you've not been following, I think I'll give you details. Yes. They are doing it across the country. They are connecting the last mileage, and of course, even I'm glad in my village they'll be doing one. I think next weekend. I'm also aware of the developments that are taking place. So that is at least some achievements. He tried to push this private partnership. You know that the kind of the monopoly that we experience in the Kenya Power and such kind of things is why we pay electricity on a higher basis compared to other countries who are our age mates. Though the contractor that was there, the Adani, was so controversial. He was not part of it, but the idea was good. But the person who was contracted and maybe how it was done is what was challengeable. You've heard some of the policies that Mbadi has come up with in the treasury. And I think for the first time, Kenyans are getting relief even in the VAT. And there's just that there's some things that they don't, like the media don't run away with. You know, media, we normally say media is evil or lazy or both. It is either evil or lazy. So they report based on, they also have to, the problem that we're having in this country is that since people like Mzalendo and Mtembei left KBC, it is not that competitive that it can be able to advance the government agenda. So the media is currently controlled by private entities. They can wake up and say that Mzalendo have been abducted, yet we know very well Mzalendo has not been abducted. So we are also victims of biasness in the media. We are not the first person complaining. This is something that has even been happening, even in the other, during elections. Mzalendo's side of Ruto complained how the media portrayed them negatively. And that is what the media is doing. And what you know, once you become an enemy of the media, it doesn't mean you are not doing the work. It means either you are not, people don't like some real things are never popular. People like things to do with the hypes. They like hyping the glitch. People liked things to do with the waves. And that is how UDA found itself forming the government. And that is what everybody is trying to create. I look at people who are currently castigating Ruto, and I try to look at how beautiful they package Ruto. So I'm wondering what changed, because the plan that Ruto had is still there. But what he lacks is the people to implement it. So if the people he's now making friends can do it, it will be okay. Sauti yangu ndio haiko kidogo, but let Mzalendo proceed.
Iko sawa,
Okay. Leo, nice to see you, and Kenya Rebel, nice to see you once again. Now, you've said so many things that the media should play its role. The role of the media is to inform and also to educate the general public. Now, that is the sole role of the media. There is also there is public media and private media. Public media is a media that, like ABC, that was created by an act of parliament. That is a state-controlled media that will definitely be portraying the government in a positive perspective. But is it okay that they do that each and every time? That is what the act states. But responsible media should correct the government or be the watchdog of the people of Kenya. So if you see a media house not investigating or not being a watchdog or not exposing corruption, then know that they are not doing their role. Now, these other media, like what we have here in Africa 24 and many other YouTube channels that are coming, Kenya Revolutionary has got also one. This Mtembei and the rest, this media platform is also another way of communicating and informing the general public. So media plays a significant role in unearthing what the public broadcaster cannot do. So a responsible media should definitely be telling you what is happening. But when you see media that is controlled by politicians or owned by politicians, then what do you expect? It is unethical, it is unprofessional to hear stories which are not factual. So that is what the media needs to do. And that is what responsible media is all about, information to the public. So Leo, you need to understand that very, very well before we even go further into what media should do. So when you see media criticizing or publishing negative information about the government, it is for you to get to know that abductions are real. If we talk about the CS appointments that you have mentioned, people like Kabogo, have they qualified? Do they have the knowledge in whatever field that they are in? Now, ICT, as you know, is now what is ruling the world economy. People are going into AI right as we are speaking. That is the biggest investment throughout the first world countries, and it is trickling down into the third world countries. Do we need somebody who is political? I don't think that we need a politician in some of these ministries, but we need somebody who has got the knowledge that can transform the industry, that can make the industry compliant with what is happening in the modern world. So Kabogo's qualification is he has a Bachelor of Commerce from Punjab University. Is he qualified to be an ICT CS? The answer is no. He has got totally no knowledge or background in ICT. Yeah, he has got zero background in ICT. And what we can only compliment Kabogo is the people that he might be hiring in that position. Those are the people who are going to complement. If you look at the other countries, what have they done in in such an important ministry. They have employed young people who are versatile and know the trends in ICT. ICT is getting so complicated that you can't get somebody who is not knowledgeable to run such a ministry. It is something that needs competent people. And then you mentioned people, of course, from ODM, CS Mbadi. Is he the very best qualified CPA that we can have within your community? The answer is no. There are better people who are better qualified than Mbadi, who can run the Ministry of who can run Treasury. We have got Martin Oduoro Tieno, who was the head of CBK of Kenya Commercial Bank. He transformed that sector. We have had people like the former MP for Rongo, Dalmas Otieno. He had his own bank called Thabiti Finance. These are people who have run institutions. What was Mbadi doing that can tell you that he's experienced and he has got the graphs and knowledge to run the country's economy? Even if you look at how he performed when he was the CS when he was the MP for Gwasi, tells you a lot. It was his constituency number one. Did he utilize the CDF properly the way people should utilize?
I think
the answer is no.
Cutting you. Just a point of information.
Yeah.
The role of an MP and the role of a cabinet secretary are different. One is executive, implementive, and one is legislative. The role of an MP is not to run a CDF. MP is a patron. CDF is the credit to best managed CDF should never be given to MPs. They should be given to the CDF management board. I'll give you an example. When Ken of Kibra was elected MP of Kibra, Ken spent like 2 years in the hospital, but Kibra CDF was well managed, courtesy to the board that was there. So this idea of crediting it to an MP and saying that if the CDF is run well, then the MP is the one running, I think that is misplaced, and that is why we have idiots.
All right.
The role of an MP to legislate, to make laws. We don't elect MPs to go and build schools. We elect MPs, we'll judge them. How many laws did you take in parliament? How many bills did you draft that ensured that students don't pay school fees in government school? And because we elect MPs with the mentality of running CDFs as a tool to be re-elected, we will never have free primary and secondary education in this country. People will still be lining to get CDFs to give MPs credit to be re-elected. But the moment you elect an MP who will know that their role is to make laws, they'll make laws to compel the government that all the government schools should be open. You walk in, you go and learn without paying anything. But if you have money, you want to pay, you go to private school. But that one is lacking because this kind of mentality, we are going to elect MPs kwa sababu walitupatia basari, wamama washindange wakipanga line pale wapewe basari, wamama washindange wakipewa ambulance ya kupeleka watu hospitali. We will never elect an MP. We will make it compulsory that every Kenyan akuwe na the NHIF card yenye ukiwa mgonjwa uende utibiwe. We will elect MPs who will tell you not to register for SHIF or SHAF simply because they are telling you umeenda kwa hospitali. The hospital is a private hospital. They want to deposit 50,000. Hakuna kitu umefanyiwa. The problem with the SHIF and the SHA is not the authority that is running it or the government. It is the hospital. It is the hospital who fails to stock the medicine there, yet they claim that amount. It is the hospitals who overcharge you. Umeenda pale for consultation, wameweka bill ya 50,000. They want the government to pay that 50,000. Some of them even conspire, the former NSSF, with the patients mwenye hajakuwa mgonjwa to spend that money. So these things, they're some of the things that we need to educate our people. We don't need to keep on rebelling every time. Hey, SHA ni mbaya, don't register. Na mwenye anakuambia don't register is paying 20 times kwa Jubilee Insurance with taxpayers' money. Na wewe anakuambia usilipe 500, wakati hujalipa 500, hizi hospitali anakuambia sijui anataka kuenda hospitali gani, wakati hujaenda Kenyatta hawaja claim hiyo 500 yako, au wataweka dawa na nini?
Yes, Nyambaya Mzalendo, umeuliza maswali mingi sana hapo.
unajua leo, there are some things that you say which are facts, but there are things that you know that definitely you are lying. That the board that is in charge of CDF at constituency level is selected by the CDF manager is selected by the MP. The people who sit on that board to manage the fund of the constituency is selected by the MP. So don't say that when Ken Okoth was in the hospital, that CDF was run by the government. He selected competent people to work in his CDF office to manage that constituency fund. That is how it works. So that is not the work of the government. The work of the government, there is the general board of national government. It's called what? I forgot the name. That oversees the implementation of projects done at the constituency by the MPs. That is totally different from what we are talking about. We are talking about at the grassroots. That village, that in your village, the constituency who is in charge, that is somebody who is selected by the MP, the area MP. And that is what we are talking about. There are MPs who have managed that CDF properly and it is working for the people. There are the others who have done a terrible job, like the CS I'm talking about, and you know it. His records speak volumes. He was an accountant, yes, we don't deny that. He's a CPA, okay, we don't deny that. But does he have the experience? Does he have the experience compared to people like Martin Oduoro Tieno? The answer is no. If you wanted somebody to transform the country, you go for the very best. You go for the very best. There are people who are from your community who work with PwC, Deloitte, Deloitte and Touche, and even KPMG. And they have reason to be partners in those companies. And these are people who are more and highly qualified compared to John Mbadi. And they are there in the country. Do we go for their very best? The answer is no. We go for mediocrity. We go for people who are going to, are going to be our lapdogs. Now, since the CS was given that opportunity, has our debt collection reduced, or is the government collecting more revenue? Maybe you could answer that. Is the expenditure increasing? You could answer that, or do you think by increasing the payment period of debt that takes you away from your debt responsibility? The answer is no. The answer is no. Is there a clear cut that Mbadi has published the debt that Kenya has in a gazette or the Kenyan Gazette and told us this is the debt that we have, this is what we need to pay. Last month we paid so much, so we are remaining with this. We are clear of debt. Just like the other president came the other day, he said, okay, now my country is debt free right now. We have paid everything. Hatuna deni. Have you seen any government official who is responsible? So it is up to people like Leo, myself, to speculate what is happening in government. But do they have the moral authority to tell us that, this is what our debt is like? Or it is the responsibility of Maina Wanjigi to go on TV and tell us this is what our debt looks like? This is what is odious debt looks like. Do you think they have the responsibility to answer back to Maina Wanjigi and tell them, no, you are misguiding the people of Kenya. This is the position of Treasury and the government. So if you can be able to answer those simple questions, then we'll know that indeed that the ministers that have been selected are doing a good job. So it is not a matter of trial and error when it comes to human life. When you talk about the SHA and NHIF, I have taken you through SHA when you are on the other side of the aisle and condemning SHA. I took you through SHA, the benefits of SHA.
That you asked, I want you to get the answers in Modi's rating. And of course, if you go to the Modi's rating, the second page, you'll find that it talks of what happened since mid-2020 2023, inflation has remained within the central Kenya CBK, that is 12.5 to 7.5 rate. That was 2023. Then in page 23, it gives you a response to what you're asking, what has happened right now, maybe the effect of the experts that we're talking about, which tells you that since July 2024, the government's borrowing costs have declined significantly, due to the lower risk premiums and monetary easing. So the 91-day treasury bill yield dropped from 16% in July to 10% in the early January 2025. So that one tells you that all these things, the problem is that our media, I started by telling you, the media is lazy or evil or both. So our media is evil. They don't want to give the positive. There's something that we normally learn, that even though if you don't like somebody, before you mention the negative side of somebody, at least try and give the positive side. But that is what the media is lacking. They are portraying the negative side, the mainstream media. So, and the government is also, I don't know why they don't want to come and tell people. There are a lot of positive things. So when you mention the positive thing, then you can now criticize by giving the negative part of it. So we need to be responsible citizens. When you keep on talking of negative things without giving alternatives, we are not leading anywhere as a country. To an extent of people have been telling us that Kenyan going to look for the seat of AUC, I don't want to go that direction.
Yes, Mzalendo, of course. Question asked by Leo Nyambaya.
I think Leo was agreeing to my point. He's not asked any particular question, or I heard him. I heard him quite well that he has agreed that the government is not doing much to inform the citizen what should be done, and that is what I said when it comes to the issue of the debts and how it is improving. In fact, I was just replying. My phone has gone off. I would have read what my response. Somebody had written about exactly what he has said about the economy, and I think my answer to the economy is very clear. You need to tell us that yes, with all this measure, we have been able to save so much since we came into this docket. The government has told it's is no longer wasting a lot of money on trips. The budget in each and every ministry has been cut. The meetings that the cabinet used to hold in hotels are no longer being held in hotels. They are being held in parliament or in the Senate. So we have, in fact, reduced the debt, the expenditure, and this money is going towards our debt. Yeah. So if if money is able to quantify all this, then I'll give him a clean bill of wealth. But when he is not able to tell us that by extending the payment period of our debt, that increases, that only extends the length of how much we are going to pay. And of course, the interest will grow much higher. By telling us, yes, the shilling has now established, is now stable against the dollar. But how well will this be sustainable in a period of time? This is what we did to ensure that our shilling remains more stable. People need to hear this. It is simple. People need to hear what you have done in order to make the shilling stabilize in a simple language that everybody else can understand. So that is how governments operates. Is they don't operate in limbo that, yes, we have done these measures, then Leo comes here guessing that, some of these things are working and all that. But if they had told us, Kimanzi would have understood. My mother back in my village would have understood that this is what Mbadi has done in treasury to ensure that we have paid our debt. And in fact, right now, we are able to save a lot of money, and a lot of waste that has been going on in government have been able to stop them. It is that simple.
It is that simple. When it comes to SHA, there are things that are working. There are things that I've always talked about here. That SHA was a good thing in its inception. Very, very good thing because terminal illnesses are covered by SHA. A few years back down the road, NHIF did not cover completely things like kidney diseases, things like cancer. They were not fully covered. They would only be covered to a certain extent. But the minute the CS in charge is not coming out even to say simple things like that the government is doing. Simple things like that you are able to articulate them, or they give me that job to articulate those things for them. Simple little things that when we had NHIF, we could not cover so much of terminal illnesses. But right now, you can walk into any hospital free of charge. Right now, when you talk about SHA, ambulance cost is covered. Trans-free ambulance cost is covered. Those are, even if I condemn this government, there are things that are good implementation, but they don't communicate effectively, Mr. Leo. So that is what you need to understand. They don't communicate effectively what they're doing. So somebody like you will look at it from the political angle and say, why didn't you say this when they employed these other Kikuyus? Because they employed Luos, we are okay with that. That is absolute nonsense and rubbish. Look at things the way they are supposed to be looked into. Service delivery. If your community is not doing a good job, yes, they are not doing a good job. If they're doing a good job, we will say the Minister of Energy is doing a wonderful job. It is that simple.
Yes, Mzalendo. Mzalendo, why are you giving a U-turn? Because I remember you voted for Raila, but now you are giving a U-turn. You think that the government has been doing some of the good things. Can you just sample just one? Because I've seen in Kenyatta Hospital, patients are just moving out.
Boni, first of all, can you apologize on behalf of people who know me? I didn't vote for Raila. All right? And don't say that again. I did not vote for Raila. The things that I didn't believe in him. I knew that Ruto was going to take us to the right trajectory. That is where I put my vote and I put my support in. All right, don't tell me that I voted for Raila. I have voted for Raila in the beginning, but when he lost direction, I stopped supporting him. It is simple. Don't say things that have never been. Say things that have been.
Okay, so which is this hospital whereby the patients are getting treatment? And of course, we have seen in Kenyatta Hospital whereby patients are just waiting for this SHA to respond and they just move out of the hospital until they go to the private hospital. Which are these hospitals whereby patients are getting treatment because of this SHA?
I've told you, Leo is now in government. Perhaps he should tell you the hospitals that are working in his village, and patients are walking in and getting treatment. I'm not in government right now. The only thing I know that SHA is the only thing I know about SHA at the moment is the services that it's providing. When you have that, if you are registered under SHA, you can get free emergency care. You can walk into the hospital without a single coin, so long as you've paid your premiums, and get treatment. That never used to happen when you used to have terminal illnesses under NHIF. So if it is not working, maybe because of system failure, or because the people who are in charge have not been able, or they have not updated their system properly. So that happens in some of these government programs that are new. Maybe the hospitals have not updated their records, and that is why people are having a problem. Yeah.
Maybe to help respond to that. Again, thank you so much, Eli. Eli, I've really known before even Mzalendo corrected you. Mzalendo never voted for Raila, actually. But the same Mzalendo will feel bad when Raila supports the person he voted for. So that is nature of human. That is how human beings are. He never voted for Raila. He voted for William Ruto. But when Raila supports his choice, meaning Raila decides to follow him, he feels bad. He did follow Raila. Raila is following him. He feels bad. When you follow Raila, he don't want you to follow Raila. When Raila follows him, so that is nature of human. It is human nature. We have to live with people like Mzalendo. When it comes to the SHA and whatever, you know, the people you see yapping, telling it is not working. Things have got procedures. You cannot walk into Bagadi Hospital as an outpatient when you've been staying in Siaya. So if you stay in Siaya, even during NHIF, you are supposed to register an outpatient where they know this outpatient, there's a certain amount that they get yearly based on the people who've selected them as their first facility. The only hospital that can admit you a OIA or anyhowly is a referral hospital, or maybe when you are admitted admitted on the bed or something like that, like ile umewekwa kwa ward. That one is a serious issue that you don't have to have been registered there. But outpatient, yenye umeenda consultation, tumbo inakuma kidogo, umetibiwa, umeenda nyumbani, you must have a specific hospital just for that order where your money is normally sent. And when they say where your money is normally sent, somebody saying, hey, hospitali na kutumia 2-3,000 per year. Yes, wanatuma 3,000 in that hospital, there are 300,000 people. The possibility of these 300,000 people getting sick is 20%. Only maybe 1,000 get sick. So this money is too much. So we have to first of all blame these hospitals and the managers. They are the ones who receive and claim your money, but they don't stock medicine. The government doesn't collect your money. This is an insurance. It is collected by the Social Health Authority, that SHA. So when they collect this money, they are giving to the hospitals who have claimed. They can't take money to which or Wotogik Hospital before they claim that we've treated Boni, now pay us this money. They don't give you money to buy medicine. Tumia pesa yako, tibu Boni, and itisha pesa ulitibi nayo Boni. But the problem is, these hospitals, you go there, wanataka sijui, they expect the government or the SHA to give them money is when they treat you. So the problem that we have in this country, I will blame the media. The media, wakienda pale, wanasema tu haifanyi, but they don't ask these people, why do you need money before treatment? So the government atajua Mzalendo akuwe mgonjwa, waende waweke pesa pale. Hey, Mzalendo atakuwa na nini, atahitaji 20,000 waweke pale. So they have to treat you. After treating you, then they claim. Those people who have cars, they know how insurance works. After an accident, you follow the due procedure, prove, then you get your money. So we know where the problem are. The problem is most of the owners of these hospitals are the ones sabotaging the government. Most of them are the people who campaigned for Azimio. They campaigned with us, and they did not expect Ruto will become the president. Those rich people from Mount Kenya that people like Babu Owino and the rest are currently worshipping, they are the problems that we have in this country. Those rich, the few who are having some entitlement, who feel that the country cannot move without them. They're the ones who are sabotaging the government. They're the ones who are running the media. And what I'll pray is that Ruto should ensure that the environment is business enabled, so that other communities, in terms of business, we can have new business names. We can have the Muzalendos. We can have warriors. We can have Wanjalas owning these media houses, owning these big hospitals, to do away with the monopoly and those people who feel entitled that without us, nothing can move. So they're the ones who are sabotaging this government. All these things that you see, the demonstration, there's nothing like demonstration. There's nothing like Gen Z. There are few people who sit and feel like, if there's nothing for us, then we have to kick the table so nobody will get something. And we cannot allow them. We should not allow them in this country to direct us like that. Mzalendo, you'll agree with us that the people who are telling us that 2027 they're going to kick William Ruto, so far I've not seen any new face. They're the same people who are political dealers. There is no new face. So you cannot convince me that we are going to remove Ruto and replace Ruto with another user-friendly Ruto. I think that one is not going to happen in this country. And that is the only reason we have to ensure that we protect Ruto.
Yes.
See, let
It's like Leo nowadays.
me say something, Bonnie, before you say what you wanted to say. You see, from what Leah said and from what my Irishman is saying on the comment section, the Irishman is talking a lot of talking a lot of tribal politics on the side chat there. I told him earlier on that we come from the same village, but I'm not a tribalist. I'm a nationalist. I put my country first before my stomach or any other thing. Now, it is not us versus them. It is what the country is offering at the moment. Do you want me to consume the abductions and the killings that are happening in the country? Do you want me to consider that that is a good thing? The answer is no. My conscience cannot allow me to say that that is a good thing. But since you are on the other side of the aisle right now, or you are on the gravy train and you are not getting out of it any sooner, then it is okay for you and you can live with it, even if the place is stinking. Uh, you can stay there. So for me, the answer is no. I don't belong to that class of individuals. So I have got my conscience very, very clear that the country would have moved to the right trajectory had William Ruto done exactly what the Gen Zs were demonstrating about. Had William Ruto done exactly what Leo was demonstrating about in the beginning when William Ruto came to power. Did they do that? No. When they got into power, and apparently Baba donated some of his best, did they implement the 6,000 shillings that people were to receive each and every month? The answer is no, because some of these things are just political statements. Do they really? Were they really going to implement that? The answer is no. Where was the money going to come from? They can't tell us right now. We know very well that this is a broad-based government, and we will put an argument that, we are in the opposition. You are not in the opposition. You are in government. You are in government, and I know you'll argue about this the whole time, that there is nothing like that in the constitution. You only realized that the other day when you got into government. Well, you are not in government, you are in the opposition. So some of these people, they take stands according to where their stomach is pointing. If their stomach is pointing the right side of William Ruto, it is okay. We are eating as a tribe right now. We are okay. We are not moving away from eating. Do we point out what is wrong in the government? We are not going to point out anything that is wrong in the government. Let other people point out, because right now it is our turn to eat. So that kind of mentality is what drives Leo and my brother, the Irishman from Ireland, on the comment section. It is our time to eat. And that is the Corralian call, that we should all eat at the same time. Other people have eaten for a long time. Now it is time for my tribe to eat. Bonnie.
Yes, I just here following what Leo is saying. Leo was a loyal supporter of Baba, but now he's in the government. Leo, do you have plans?
No, this is it's called being a political prostitute. He doesn't have it. If you ask Leo, if you corner him and ask him, hey, what policies are you? What has really changed? And now that you really used to condemn William Ruto so badly, what has really changed right now that you support him 100%? Let me tell you, this same guy in less than 48 hours, he will make a U-turn on William Samoei Ruto if Baba decides to tell him, you know, I failed in the AUC and I'm now vying for the presidency of Kenya. So these are not people who are principled that you can look at what they are saying and look at and say that this is what you need to follow. No, these are the people who behave with the times. Wakiambiwa left, wataenda left. Wakiambiwa high, how high do you want me to jump? Just the same way, like my brother on the comment section, when you ask him, jump high, ataruka, atauliza tu, baba, how high do you want me to jump? Ataruka, hata kama atavunjika mguu, hiyo tutakesi baadaye. So these are people like that. And we have
Leo,
accepted,
are you the...
Yes, accepted them.
Leo, why are you like this? Because personally, as a loyal supporter of Baba, I don't feel good when you gave a U-turn and you started supporting the Kiki government.
No, there is one
What is
thing
good in
that
the
you
government?
people know is
Or
that
you followed the likes of Badi and Oparanya?
change. There's one thing that you have to understand is that change is inevitable, and only fools don't change their minds. So there are things, when you do things the same way, you don't expect different results. So doing something the same way and expecting different results is what is defined as insanity or madness. And I think it is high time that we agree that we are not insane. Even at your 90s, you can change your mind and prove that you're not insane. I was born when we were doing this kind of politics of fighting, politics of opposition. We even forgot that 2010 did away with opposition and still buried our heads on the opposition. I was born in opposition politics. But we've realized that no, things have to be done differently. We cannot just do the things the same way we used to do in 1992. We used to do with Ford, NDP, LDP, Tinga, NASA, and we expect to have change. It cannot happen. And Zalendo should appreciate us for finally seeing the light that they used to tell us, that you have to work with the government. So now when we've seen that light and we've started working with the government for the benefit of the people, because we are all taxpayers. As long as you're opposing, after voting, you call yourself opposition, we pay equal taxes. So if siding with the government will enable us to get a share of our taxes, which is not a privilege, it is our right, then so be it. So I don't know why people feel bad. And for the people who are opposed to this, ODM was formed as an Orange Democratic Movement. And there's been this notion that O in ODM means opposition. And that is why even I sympathize when I see people saying that, you see, when we go, my governor recently telling people that, you see, when we go to the government, we are losing our identity. Which identity? Which identity says that when you are born and you're supporting ODM, you have to oppose the government? Which identity? Do we have identity that is saying that, okay, if you are born in Central, you have to be in government. If you're born in Western, you have to be opposing government. Then that identity, we have to do away with it. It is a negative identity. Even when the white men came, the Luos were removing the 6 lower teeth simply because during that day, the only way to administer medicine was through your mouth. So they thought that if you remove it was wise that if you remove your lower teeth and you are sickling, you're almost dying, at least there's still space that can be used to give you medicine. But the white men came with mashindano, and currently they don't even have to inject our buttocks. They just use your veins on your hand, and you just walk. You don't need to go to a special room for you to be injected. So why do we keep on lowering our lower teeth? There are so many ways of getting the government. Why do we need to keep on going on the streets and chanting Ruto must go so that we can be able to get what belongs to us? So we are working smartly. And moving forward, anybody who thinks that we are going to be opposing the government, we are sorry for them. We will be going for the elections. We will be taking positions. We will either win or lose. Then after that, we will join that government to benefit from the taxes that we are paying. And I can tell you, for the last few months, anybody who've been in the Western Kenya can tell you that they've felt the presence of government, something that they've not felt they last felt when we had a coalition government. If you go the constructions that are taking place, even affordable houses in Homa Bay, where people have got their Simbas, the affordable houses are being built there. They are being erected. Go to Kisumu, go to the sugarcane farmers. We've been seeing in TV every time people getting coffee bonuses, tea bonuses from the government money, Kenyan taxes. Ile taxi imetoka Turkana, mali hakuna hata maji, ndio inalipa bonus ya chai. Na jana wameenda wamelipa tu bonus ya miwa. You see some people who are entitled wanakuja wanauliza hii budget ilipitishwa wapi? Wanasahau yao hawakuwa, hatuko tunawauliza ilipitishwa wapi. So I can't have any time with somebody who is supporting people who are entitled. That is why I totally disagree with Mzalendo. Nikiona Mzalendo anatuambia the central will decide who will become the president. Kwani sisi tutakaliwa hadi lini? Mzalendo.
You know, I love my brother Leo's analysis and perspective of politics when he says that right now he's seeing things working in Western and in Nyanza. He has forgotten that the role of government is supposed to distribute resources equally, and even if you didn't vote for them, that is the work of a good president. So whatever is happening in government today is because Ruto is just following the constitution of what needs to be done, and the previous presidents did never used that opportunity. So it is not a favor that you are getting. That is where you get it all wrong. Whatever you are getting is what you are entitled for. It is not a favor that William Ruto is doing for you. So don't go and tell people out there that right now what I'm seeing is it's because we are working with the government is bringing resources to the ground. It is because the previous governments did not do what is supposed to be done. And it is because of the pressure that is now in our politics is when you can see those resources. It is because of the stability that you have brought to Ruto's government is now when he's seeing that, hey, these are the people that I need to work with because the mountain has gone slippery. Now, Leo, I know you are a strong supporter of Gor Mahia. Who is currently the best striker of Gor Mahia? Who is currently the goal poacher of Gor Mahia? Do you know? Okay, let me give you.
I can help him as msaidia.
Ni nani?
Austin Odhiambo.
Austin Odhiambo. Now, Austin Odhiambo ni striker matata sana wa Gor Mahia. And coach anajua without this player tuwezi shinda league. Ni kama Messi in a team or Cristiano during their time. Do you let that player go out or sell that player so easily?
No.
Always. For
those are key players in a team that determine the team performance.
That determines the team performance. Now, when you sell this player, unaenda una recruit watu player mwingine, si ndio? Now, William Ruto did that when their time with Gachagua was done. He wanted to go out and recruit a player that is similar to Messi. Now, wale wachezaji wameleta wote kina Kindiki, kina nani, kina Leo hapa kuingia kwa team. They cannot match Gachagua because Gachagua kwanza bei yake Gachagua ni amekuja na tag ya 5 million votes. Wewe unaleta ngapi on the table? So you don't sell such a key.
Just eating tu. Akina Leo ni kukula tu. Hakuna kitu ataleta.
Exactly, hakuna kitu ataleta. They don't bring
kukula tu. Unasikia akisema tu anaona vile vinaendelea.
Unasikia vile anasema sisi sasa tunakula tu.
Wanakula tu ameona.
And William Ruto knows that this is not a very important player in my team. Lakini anataka season hii Ishe, lazima tumalize season. Hawa ni players
Jamaa.
wameletwa, lazima tumalize season now. Because season lazima tumalize, na for the team to survive in the league. Hii league, na kuna wachezaji wakali sana wamekuja wanajiita Gen Z. Hii team itatumaliza. Wacha tulete hii team nyingine alafu that is how it is. That is the practical situation in Kenyan politics. You are only there to stabilize the politics, but not like you are bringing anything significant away from what Gachagua was bringing to Ruto's government. When you wake up each and every day, people don't talk about Mbadi or Opiyo Wandayi or Raila Odinga. Nobody talks about them. Angalia kwa platform zote. What are people talking about? Gachagua. Why? Because whether it is negative or positive, that is a very important link that William Ruto lost. And I am sure if the clock was reversed, he would not do that mistake.
Yes, Leo, you are just here. Can you defend your words? Because personally,
No, Mzalendo telling us people don't talk about Raila means he's in a wrong platform.
no, Mzalendo talked in parable form. He said that Messi cannot be substituted in a team. So you people join the government to hit.
There's nothing like joining the government.
Hawa jamaa wamekuja kukula, walileta tumbo na mdomo.
Just said that William Ruto has proved to Kenyans that you
can
develop the entire country. Mzalendo has just told you that the previous government was not developing this country. It is people's rights. But the previous government, through those people that you're telling me that the entitled people, used to block development of other people. But William Ruto proved to them that, you see, this country belongs to all of us. Everybody should get an equal share of their tax. So this is the same person you are telling us that he must go so that we replace him with the entitled who've been blocking us from getting our right. So are we stupid to follow you? I heard somebody, Gachagua, saying yesterday, was it yesterday, that you see, hata nimetoka pale kuna wajaluo wamekuja wameniambia their votes cannot be inherited, baba kishaenda AU wataamua kivyao. We know very well, we can be able to compare. Even Bonnie, you like football. Right now, I think you can tell Mzalendo how many stadiums are being done and who is doing them. And the last one to be done, we only have 2 stadiums in Kenya that can host games. That is Nyayo and Kasarani. You can tell us who built these stadiums. I think both of them were built by Daniel Moi. We had Kenyatta. There's no stadium that he did, actually. And people have been wondering, why is it that everything is named about Moi? That one is enough to tell you the things that he did. Uhuru Kenyatta was there. They promised us 10 years down the line. Not even Nyayo was renovated. Right now, William Ruto in his 2nd year, Talanta is getting finished there until CAF waliona seriousness. And they had to postpone the game. They had to wait for us 8 months. Why? Because it tells you nani anaweza develop this country. Right now, we know the stadiums that are being done. So that one is enough to tell you that when somebody tells you, see, Ruto hakuna kitu anafanya, CAF inakuja hapa, tuliahidiwa inakuja. Hao wanashinda, hakuna kitu alifanya. Aliwagonga nje akamwambia, nyinyi ndio mnasemanga vitu zisifanyike, wacha tuonyeshe kazi. And Mzalendo, I can tell you, from 2026, the transformation that is going to take place in this country, right now, up to 2026, will make Ruto re-elected. And if you think it is a joke, Kibaki was hated more than Ruto is hated, but he served his 2nd term. So don't you tell you, Ruto is not that hated. Kibaki was hated. And towards the election, nobody even wanted to associate with him. But he finished his 2nd term with all that hate. And remember, Kibaki was hated na alitupatia pre-primary education. Kibaki was hated and all those things yenye mnasema alipeana, right now niende amependwa. So this William Ruto, people will come to say, hey, we had a president. Because if this is what happened to Kibaki in the year 2005 after the referendum, and people hated Kibaki because of some silly things like referendum and such kind of things. Though he was the worst president that Kenya ever had in this country. He was the worst president, and it will go down in history that during Kibaki, that is when we lost Kenyans, most people, through the post-election violence simply because of one man, Mwai Kibaki. He was the worst president, but he served his second term. So what tells you in your mind that Ruto will not serve his second term? So we don't want to keep on losing again. We want to behave like the people of Northeastern Egypt, any government in power. That is our strategy. We know without Raila there, we know for maybe somebody of Raila's caliber to be in that position, it will take our community 20 to 30 years. Achana na watu mnadanganywa eti sijui babu atasimama. There's nothing like that.
I like Leo. I like that part that now you are agreeing with me many years down the road when I wrote an article, and I think you commented on that article so many years back, that for your community to get the presidency, they have to play second fiddle. And that time you didn't understand the logic. So I am always ahead of you to understand how this Kenya is moving. The only problem with you is that you come very late. Right now, these are the things that you should have done probably 5 years ago or 10 years down the road. That is what you should have done. Now, the politics that is happening in the country now is the politics of the census. How many are we? Yeah, the tribal metrics is now happening. How many are we? How many are Luyas? How many are Luos? How many are Kikuyus? How many are Kalenjins? So that it is easier for a president to form a coalition with a certain community and get the numbers that they want. And get the numbers they want. Now, communities have realized that the only way to bargain with the government is to be together and share the national cake. The Luya community is coming together. The Kamba community have been left out in all this, but the Kamba community have been in government. They have been in very many successive governments, despite being in the opposition. It is only from Leo's tribe that it was deemed a taboo to work with the government some years then. And now he has agreed that they were foolish then. It was deemed a taboo. When we saw people like Jalango and the rest working with the government, what did Leo say? Can you remember his exact words? So this kind of camouflage is only happening for a moment because they are in this gravy train. But I want Leo and maybe the people who are watching at home and so many other people to look at, to put the country first. We have reached a point whereby we need not to think of a tribe as the only benefactor in our politics. We need to look at, it is my concern when I see a Turkana going angry, and it is not the problem of the Turkana people. It is my concern when I see Mijikenda not having clean water or schools in Nyanza which are poorly done because of bad leadership. So that should be a concern of everybody. So if you look at things like that, then we can have a good society. Other than walk this talk, we need to do it in action. Try and do things the right way. Whatever is happening in our politics now is just a smokescreen. Itaisha too. But we need to fix the country in a way that everybody else feels that they are part and parcel of this lovely country called Kenya. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Leo, now you're in the government and 2027 is so close. Leo amepotea bwana. Leo Nyambaya is in the government. Mzalendo, why do you think that mbona fikiria Leo waliingia kwa government sana hivyo na walikuwa wanasema sasa hii ni kubetray watu wengine kama sisi wenye tulikuwa tunajua tunge support Raila tulikuwa tunapata 6,000 kila mwezi. I know comment section there wamewaka moto.
Leo aliingia kwa serikali, amekwambia vizuri, aliingia kwa serikali kwa sababu amekuwa na njaa. Aliingia kwa serikali kwa sababu anataka kukula. Ameingia kwa serikali kwa sababu ya tumbo yake. Ameingia kwa serikali kwa sababu akiingia kwa serikali itamletea barabara, itamletea hizi vitu ameongea juu yake sahi. Lakini ajui hiyo ni jukumu ya serikali. Na hiyo ni jukumu ya serikali ambayo inatetea wananchi wake na kufanya kazi vyema. So kama serikali haifanyi kazi kwa njia ya utaratibu fulani ama kuzingatia katiba ya Kenya, ndio unapata sehemu zingine za nchi zimeendelea kushinda zingine. Lakini kwa utendakazi serikali haina budi iwe imechaguliwa na hao wakaaji ama ijachaguliwa na hao wakaaji, wanafaa kupata huduma sawa sawa na hizo sehemu zingine. Ukiangalia polisi ya Kenya iko katika kila sehemu ya nchi, au ingawaji kuna mahali bado kuna hii vita ama uwizi wa mfugo, serikali lazima iwapatie wale wananchi wa sehemu hiyo nafasi ya kwanza ya kujitawala, kuchagua viongozi wale wanataka, na pia kuwapatia huduma. Hii inamaanisha huduma ya afya, huduma ya yoyote ile inatokana na serikali kuu.
Yes, that is Leo Nyambaya, of course, one of the members here who joined the government because of that feeling of being in the government. But now in the government, we have Kithure Kindiki, the current deputy president, who has been facing a lot of critics from the mountain leaders. Today we saw how some of the leaders echoed at him when he was having that border summit at Embu. Mzalendo, do you believe that Kithure Kindiki will also get impeached? Might we just experience another impeachment for Kindiki before 2027?
Kindiki namuitaga Johnny Bravo. Kindiki ni Kindiki profesa. Bado kisiasa amekuwa ako na uzoefu wa siasa, but ile siasa ya Kenya pale imefika, unaona yeye ile jamii anatoka ni wako wachache sana. William Ruto akitaka kuchaguliwa kama rais wa Kenya 2027, Kindiki lazima aende nyumbani, lazima achague mtu mwingine kuwa running mate wake. So Kindiki sioni kama William Ruto wataenda na yeye wamalize, wakimaliza then wakati uchaguzi inakaribia ama wakati uchaguzi imetangazwa, bila shaka utaona Kindiki ni wale ambao watakuwa wanaitwa macasualty. Wale mimi nakwambia wataumia pale mbele wale wataumia pale mbele, kwa sababu hii siasa, political parties are formed kunyakua serikali. William Ruto anaangalia vitu mbili, anaangalia vitu mingi. Anaangalia naibu wake. Kama last election unaelewa ya kuwa, ama tumesoma kwa mtandao, bwana Kindiki alikuwa ameshinda mara mingi katika ile uchaguzi ama uteuzi wa naibu wa rais, lakini kura ilipopigwa mara mingi yeye ndiye ikawa anashinda. Ikabidi William Ruto angalie, ni huyu jamaa ile nikimweka deputy wangu itakuwa na ushawishi kubwa katika hii Gema community ama nitafute mtu mwingine. Ndio posa akaangalia mtu kama Gachagua akamweka pale na wakaweza kuchukua serikali na ile kura ya mountain akaipata vile anavyostahili. Now kwa fikira ya William Ruto ilikuwa ni kama ningeweza kuchukua hii kura na Gachagua, na wengi wale walinipigia kura huko Central walinipigia kwa sababu mimi ni William Ruto na si ati deputy wangu. So hiyo kasumba sahi nadhani amejua ukweli wa mambo ni ya kuwa wale Wakikuyu walimpigia kura kwa sababu walikuwa na mwenzao kama deputy president, na walikuwa wamepiga kura wakijua 10 yangu 10 yako baadaye, lakini hakuna mahali walikuwa wameandikiana. So hiyo siasa iko namna hiyo.
Yes. 2027 Kithure Kindiki anaweza ng'atuka pale, lakini pia nikiangalia vile anapiga siasa, anapigia debe sana serikali ya William Ruto ambayo ameingia pale, anasema kwamba inasaidia sana wa Kenya. People are saying that 2027 the biggest competition might be between William Ruto and Matiang'i, the Jubilee party leader who is going to be vying for the president. Matiang'i atampatia Ruto upinzani wa karibu kweli? Akona kura?
Wajua Matiang'i akiingia katika siasa anakuja na kura milioni 2 ya kabila yake ya Kisii. Hiyo ni good start for a candidate. Anakuja na kura zaidi ya milioni zile watu watampigia. Haya, hii kura ingine ataipata wapi? Ikiwa Wakikuyu watakubali kupigia Matiang'i kura kwa sababu ya Uhuru Kenyatta, then anaingia na kura milioni 7. Anaingia tayari akikuwa na kura milioni 7 kuelekea uchaguzi wa 2027. Hiyo ni community mbili. Ikiwa Wakamba wale pale unatoka kule Boni watakubaliana kuungana na muungano, then akona kura tayari ya milioni 11. Unanielewa? So huyu ni mtu anaingia kwa kura, nikikwambia jamii ya Wakamba, jamii ya Wakisii, jamii ya Wakikuyu, hiyo ni kura tayari uko nayo kura milioni 10. Milioni 10. Now jamii ya Kikuyu wako kule Central, wako kule Rift Valley, au watazidi kupigia moja wao kura ama mahali wataelekezwa wapige kura. Now kuna jamii ya Waluya. Waluya inategemea ni vipi hii muungano ya Kenya Kwanza itawasawishi kuwapigia kura 2027. Ndio maana unaona William Ruto amepeleka hela nyingi sana kule Western na Nyanza kwa sababu ya ushawishi ya wakaaji wa pale Western. So Western na Nyanza definitely kama Raila Odinga hayuko katika ballot, sio wote watapiga kura kama vile wangepiga kama Raila yuko pale, lakini watapigia William Ruto. Kwa wale wengi kwa jumla watapigia kura William Samoei Ruto. Na tunaongea kura ngapi? Tunaongea zaidi ya kura milioni 3, milioni 4 pale milioni 2-3 hapo. So tayari William Samoei Ruto wanaenda sambamba na Matiang'i kisiasa. Kama hii coalition itashikana vile nasema, wanapelekana sambamba. Now, nani ataamua kura ya 2027? Wale ambao hawakuwahi pigia Raila Odinga kura na hawakupigia William Ruto kura 2022 ndio wataamua siasa ya 2027, na hiyo ni milioni 20 ya Wakenya. Wanielewa? So ule mtu kama William Ruto atashawishi hii generation Z, mula wake ukiisha wampigie kura, then atashinda kura ya 2027. Hiyo ni naongea katika njia ya demokrasia, lakini kwa njia ya uwizi wa kura then tunaweza ongea mambo mengine, lakini kwa njia ya kidemokrasia Matiang'i, Kalonzo na wagombeaji wengine wakikuja pamoja wanaweza patia William Ruto ushindani mkubwa sana.
Yes, Matiang'i, but of course, you know, Matiang'i when he was when Matiang'i was in the Ministry of Education, he really impressed a lot of Kenyans. So I think also Kenyans from coastal region, Rift Valley, northeastern Kenya, there are some large number of people who are going to follow Matiang'i because of what he did during the 2016-2017 when he was serving the Ministry of Education and also Ministry of Interior Security. Because Kenya needs someone who is a dictator and someone who can say things and then they're going to be implemented, because anything that was said by Matiang'i, then of course it was implemented during that time. So I think also Matiang'i has a number of people who are following from all over the country, and yet even in the Kikuyu region, you might have some of people who are going to vote for Matiang'i. So I think, as Jeremiah Kioni said, they gave Matiang'i that position because they trust in him, they have trust in him, and they think that he has the courage to face William Ruto. So I know the president is also there and is going to experience that tough competition. But do you think that the president also might go and pick Gladys Wanga for 2027? You saw how he appointed his husband. You seeing how the president has been giving positions to the central and also Lake region and also western.
Let me tell you, I want to differ a bit. How many votes that can Gladys Wanga bring to William Ruto? I told you William Ruto is a very smart politician. He's not your average politician. He knows how to play his games. You see, there are people who are average, but William Ruto is not your average politician. He's very, very smart. And I can tell you, William Ruto cannot choose Gladys Wanga as a running mate. Afadhali hata achague anaitwaje huyu mama, huyu gavana wa Kirinyaga, Minji kama running mate wake, ndio aweze kugauza lugha ya kura ya central apate hiyo milioni. Anataka kura, William mtu anataka kura milioni 1 kutoka central. So akipata kura milioni 1 kutoka central, is good with that. So choosing a deputy ako sawa, kuchagua deputy wake, kuchagua deputy yake. So Gladys Wanga ile kura analeta tayari, hakuna kitu analetea William Ruto. Baba ndiye analetaga kura, si Gladys Wanga. Hiyo ndio kitu
Lakini
lazima.
pia ukiangalia watu wengi wa Western, unajua watakuwa nasema sasa ni wakati, alafu na kuna hiyo gender. Unajua women's they just follow any channel. A lot of women are going to vote because they now want to get
Women in Kenya are tribal. They follow tribal politics. Hakuna mambo ya agenda ati huyu ni wetu ati wacha tumpigie mama kura. Unless she's running. You remember Charity Ngilu ran as president. Charity Ngilu alikuwa
I was young.
Oh, you are young. Bado ulikuwa na kunywa maziwa. But unaona Charity Ngilu ran as president. Alikuwa anaitwa Mama Rainbow. Walimpigia kura ipasavyo? Not really. But she had a very good campaign. A very good campaign. Gladys Wanga bado hajafika hiyo kiwango ya hata huyo Mama Rembo, bado yuko chini kabisa. Kwa hiyo siasa yake bado iko huko Nyanza na kwingineko, bado hajakomaa kisiasa kushawishi Wakikuyu wapigie William Ruto kura. Bado hajafika hiyo kiwango. William Ruto anaangalia candidate ule atamletea numbers. Numbers, the only way to get numbers ni kuchagua running mate tena kutoka Central Province.
Kuna baadhi ya watu ambao walikuwa wanasema maybe William Ruto might just reunite with Gachagua. Do you see reconciliation?
Yeah, William Ruto can play that wild card na hakuna pale mtampeleka. The only thing that he might lose akicheza hiyo kadi ni the people who hated Gachagua. There are people like Leo who support William Ruto because Raila Odinga didn't like Gachagua. Yeah. So there are people who hate William, who don't like William, who don't like Gachagua, and the fact that William Ruto kicked him out, they are now supporting William Ruto because of the hatred. Now, if he is to come back as the deputy president, which Ruto can play his cards and he can still come back as the deputy president, na akirudi Central yote itapigia Ruto kura. Ni simple tu hivyo. Arudishe Ruto na aseme hii siasa ni sarakasi. Aambie bwana, mimi vile nimeona huyu jamaa lazima nimrudishe. Basi story imeisha.
So itakuwa akimrudisha sasa ni hivyo.
Sasa kina Leo na wengine sasa watarudi kwa Matiangi hapa na Kalonzo hapa. Juu ile nani akirudi pale kina Leo sasa watatoka mbio, lazima waepe, watoroke.
Lakini ukiangalia vile watu wanapigana sio rahisi hata warudiane. Hizo ni rumors tu watu wanaeneza mitaani. Maana ukiangalia vile wanaongeleshana kwa mitandao sio rahisi hata ikiwa ni siasa.
Ulikuwa unajua ya kuwa baba ataisalimiana na Ruto? Hebu niambie, wewe ni supporter wa
sio baba mwenye alinishtua sana. Kama kuna kiongozi ambaye alinishtua kuingia kwa serikali, mimi binafsi ni Junet Mohamed. Hata niko na clips zake.
Vile alikuwa anasema atafunga Ruto, tutaweka yeye ndani.
Hizo mikutano za Raila, nilikuwa naziona hapo mpaka nasema yenyewe Junet ni loyal follower wa baba. Lakini sasa kwa serikali saa hii anasema siasa zangu, midomo yangu.
Osama anasema Gachagua is a disaster. Osama, I'm telling you, there is a card that if William plays that joker, kila kitu inabadilika. Akiweza kusema tu unajua makosa nilifanya, aende Central aseme William Ruto will go to Central Province in a big rally in Nyeri, aseme afanye mkutano kule Nyeri, aseme unajua binadamu ndio ukosa. Mimi nimefanya makosa, realize makosa yangu, na nyinyi kama watu wa mlima mnanisamea, na mimi pia sinaweza samea Gachagua. Kwani mimi ni nani? Mimi ni Mungu? Hapana, si Mungu ni anasamia watu. William Ruto akicheza hiyo kadi na kuambia siasa ya Kenya tena imebadilika.
Hawezi. Lakini sisi kama Wakamba tumeacha nyuma. Nimeona viongozi, ilikuwa juzi walikuwa wanasema kuna viongozi, baadhi ya viongozi ambao wako katika chama cha maendeleo chap walikataa kuingia katika chama cha UDA ambacho ni chake Rais William Ruto. Anakataa.
Kwa hiyo maendeleo chap hizo ni chama, hizo ni viosk kama za mandazi. Sasa chap hizo ni mapati zinafaa kuvunjiliwa mbali, UDA imeze hizo mapati. Kuna watu wanasumbua watu akili. Sasa maendeleo chap kitambo gani watakuwa na serikali, wameform serikali?
Muzalendo, in Ukambani we speak politics. We have 3 counties that give a large number of votes when it comes to the general election.
Wakamba wanapigia Wiper na ile serikali, hizo chama mbili tu. Hao either majority wamepigia Wiper party na wengine wameingia kwa serikali. Na maendeleo chap inapata tu, maybe amepata MCA wawili ama mmoja watatu katika bunge. But you see, ni demokrasia, mtu anafaa kuingia kwa kioski ile anataka. Kama hiyo ya chap hiyo ni ya nani? Ni ya ule governor Mutua, Alfred Mutua. Hiyo ya Alfred Mutua kama inauza uji na mandazi, wacha watu wanataka kunywa uji na mandazi waende wakunywe huko. Kuna zile chama zina serve samaki kama ODM, wacha watu wanataka kula samaki waende huko kwa samaki. Kuna Murusiki, watu wa UDA, wacha waende wakunywe maziwa ya Murusiki huko. Na hiyo ndio siasa.
Yes, thank you so much Mzalendo. Thank you so much Leo Nyabaya. Thank you so much comment sections, those who have been following this great conversation. For the last 2 hours, we have done a good job when it comes to having these wonderful conversations. And of course, it's the first day of the month of February, the month of love, Valentine. Happy Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's month to those who are in love. Make sure you spread love to all people around you. Make sure you cheer anyone who is feeling not loved. But most important is to subscribe to Africa 24. As you spread love, make sure you subscribe to Africa 24 through the comment sections. You can also subscribe to Africa 24 YouTube channel. Road to 50,000 subscribers. Join there and subscribe to this great channel to get those news updates when it comes to politics, sport, business, and also entertainment. We also have our shows here that happens every day, and a lot of news in Africa 24. You can follow us in the social media platforms Africa 24. I have not much to say, Mzalendo. What is your closing remarks as we say Luere to today's show? Of course, East African time. I know in the United States it's almost 5 p.m. Here it's past midnight. We are almost towards 3 a.m. Zeleno, what is your closing remarks? And of course, don't forget, Arsenal is playing Manchester City at
tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Today.
In my time, it is tomorrow. We'll be playing against Manchester City. I hope that the Gunners are going to win that match. That is my prediction. If we are we playing at home or away?
You are playing at Etihad Stadium. I think Etihad Stadium. So we shall meet here after the game.
That is a very difficult game for both teams. Remember, Man City is not doing so well. I expect if I was to predict the scores, then I predict an Arsenal win or a draw between both sides. So let us wait and see, and may the best team win in tomorrow's match. Now, even as we wind up, I want to say once again my condolences to the family that have lost loved ones because of abduction and senseless killings of this government. This is something that needs to stop, and I hope that somebody out there will be able to stop these senseless killings of our people. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys very, very, very much for staying tuned on this wonderful show. And I hope to see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you. Host has already left. This is Boni ametoroka. Kama inakaa usingizi ya Kenya, sio usingizi ya kawaida. Otherwise, see you much later. We will be having Mzalendo Uncensored, and on that show, I'll be predicting what is going to happen in our politics. I know so much has not been talked about, especially what the storm in between the ODM party. I would want us to discuss that matter in the next show. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching this evening's edition.